So there's a huge fight brewing in the real estate world, and it all boils down to a pretty wild question. Should some home sales be kept secret? Yep, we're talking about a major clash between a seller's privacy and a buyer's right to know, and it is really coming to a head right now.
I mean, just think about it for a second. Let's say you need to sell your house, but for whatever reason, you just don't want the whole world knowing about it. You don't want your nosy neighbors or your boss seeing pictures of your living room online. What if you could market it, privately? That idea right there is at the absolute heart of this entire debate.
So how does this even work? Well, it's done through something called a private listing network, or PLN for short. The easiest way to think of it is like a sneak peek. It's a pre-market where a home is shared with a select group of brokers, but it doesn't get blasted all over Zillow or the public sites. At least, not yet.
All right, so who's on Team Private? Let's meet the first major player. We're talking about Midwest Real Estate Data, or MRED, which runs the show for the massive Chicago area market. And their CEO has come out with a really passionate defense of this whole system.
Now, listen to the words she uses here. MRED's CEO, Rebecca Jensen, she doesn't frame this as just some business tool. No, she talks about it as a way to give people compassion and options. She's making the case that this is about helping people during some of the absolute toughest times of their lives. And when she says tough times, she's not kidding. MRED points to things like this. Selling a home is already one of the most stressful things you can do. Now imagine doing it while you're going through a divorce or right after a death in the family. For sellers in those situations, MRED argues that privacy isn't just a nice-to-have. It's a flat-out necessity.
And look, they're not just talking feelings. They've got the numbers to back it up. They say the typical home only sits in this private network for about 9 to 17 days before it goes public anyway. So the key takeaway here is that for most people, this isn't about selling your house in total secrecy forever. It's about having a short, controlled, private window before the whole world sees it.
And get this, they also point out that only a tiny fraction, just 3.5%, of these private listings sell on the very first day they hit the public market. Now, this is a direct shot at the idea that these are all just pocket listings, shady backroom deals where an insider snaps up the house before you even have a chance to see it. The data seems to say that's not really what's happening.
And maybe this is the most telling number of all. More than 2/3 of the real estate agents who try the private listing network once end up using it again. That tells you that the people on the ground, the ones actually helping these families, find it to be a genuinely valuable tool. It's not just some weird loophole.
Okay, so you can really see the two different philosophies taking shape, right? On one side, you've got MRED, and their whole argument is built on compassion and flexibility for the seller. And on the other side, you've got the giant, Zillow, and their focus is all about creating a completely level playing field for every single buyer out there.
All right, so let's flip the coin and hear from the other corner. Enter Zillow. They have a national policy that is in direct opposition to MRED's whole private network idea.
Zillow's rule is honestly super straightforward. They basically say, look, if you advertise a house anywhere online, even in a so-called private network, then you are publicly marketing it. And if you're publicly marketing it, it has to be on the main MLS for every single person to see, period.
For them, it all comes down to one word: fairness. Zillow's whole argument is that if you let some agents show a house to an exclusive club before anyone else, you are creating an uneven playing field. It begs the question, are some buyers getting an unfair advantage?
Now, to be fair to Zillow, it's important to add this little detail. They're not saying no privacy ever. They make it clear that if a seller has a really serious safety or personal reason to keep a sale completely under wraps, we're talking zero public marketing, they're okay with that. Their beef is with the in-between, the houses that are marketed, but only to a select few. So you've got these two industry giants with these two completely opposite points of view. And this whole national debate has created this really fascinating one-of-a-kind standoff, and it is all centered on one city, Chicago. See, Zillow has rolled this rule out across the entire United States. It is the law of the land for real estate listings almost everywhere you look. Almost. There is one massive exception.
This chart just says it all, doesn't it? 100% enforcement of the policy across the rest of the U.S. and a big fat 0% in the Chicago region. It's a total holdout, a single market bucking and nationwide rule.
So what gives? Why the special treatment for Chicago? Well, even Zillow admits it's because this private listing network isn't some new thing MRD just cooked up. It is a long-standing, very popular system that's deeply woven into how real estate gets done there. You can't just flip a switch and turn it off.
Okay, industry drama, fine. But why does any of this matter to you? Well, because the winner of this fight could fundamentally change how you buy or sell your next home.
Let's just break it down real simple. If you're a seller, MRED's world gives you more privacy and control, which, yeah, could be a lifesaver. Zillow's world means less of that control. Now let's flip it. If you're a buyer, the private network means you might literally never know a perfect house was for sale. Zillow's open market guarantees you see every single home that's being advertised.
So when you strip it all away, that's what we're left with. It's a fundamental clash between two really important ideas: a seller's legitimate need for privacy and a buyer's fundamental right to have a fair shot at every available home.
And that really just leaves us with a tough question to chew on, doesn't it? When we're talking about something as huge and as personal as a person's home, is total, absolute transparency always the best way to go? Or is there room? Is there a need for a little bit of privacy? That's the question right at the center of this whole battle.